Imagine the scene, squad. The snow is falling over Sandringham. The cameras are being dusted off. The tabloids have already drafted their usual hit pieces. And normally, this is the season where they dust off the annual lie that Harry and Meghan weren't invited, or refused to come, or hurt the Queen's feelings, and all the other recycled nonsense they use to distract from the real dysfunction happening inside the palace walls. But not this year, because this Christmas the chaos is coming from Cambridge country. Or should we say Windsor country, since William and Kate desperately want people to forget the Cambridge branding ever existed. This year the story isn't about the Sussexes. It's not about Harry and Meghan declining yet another toxic invitation. No, this year the big headline is Prince William and Kate Middleton are skipping King Charles' Christmas lunch. Again for the third year in a row. 3 consecutive years of, "Sorry, Dad, we've got other plans." And that, squad, is wild. So let's break this all the way down, Royal Sussex Squad style, calmly, factually, but with that little sprinkle of fire we always bring. Because, once again, Harry and Meghan were minding their gorgeous California business, while the other side of the family was busy combusting in broad daylight. But first, take this in. The palace tried to bury this story. The Rota tried to shift attention. The tabloids tried to redirect blame. But the facts? They're louder than ever. William and Kate skipped last year. They skipped the year before, and now they're skipping again, even though the very same royal reporters spent 12 straight months crying about family unity and duty, and Harry should come home for the king. Yet William, the future king, the heir, the man who told the world that duty comes first, doesn't even show up for Christmas lunch with his father. But these same people still try to villainize Harry? Make it make sense. What we're seeing here is a pattern, a deepening rift between King Charles and Prince William. And for once, the palace can't pretend it's sunshine and puppies behind the scenes. No amount of carefully staged photo ops or last-minute press briefings can hide the fact that the heir and the monarch are not aligned. And let's be honest, they never really have been. Look at how differently they operate. Charles believes in visibility, consistency, duty, the old-school be seen to be believed mantra. He's carried that from the Queen's playbook. Agree or disagree with him? That's his philosophy. William? Let's just tell the truth the media refuses to say out loud. William does not like being a working royal. At all. This is a man who has spent his whole adult life skipping events, disappearing for months, hiding his schedule, vanishing on holidays. And somehow the palace PR machine keeps trying to call it protecting his family time, or modernizing the monarchy. But when Harry and Meghan prioritized their mental health, when they wanted balance, when they said this environment isn't safe for us, the whole world was told they were lazy, selfish, entitled. But William can literally ignore Christmas with the king, 3 years straight. And somehow that's just a difficult year. Let's talk about that difficult year, shall we? The palace, through sources, claimed it was because William and Kate had an extremely hard year. Really? Kate hasn't worked more than a handful of engagements all year. William disappears for weeks at a time with no explanation. Meanwhile, King Charles has been dealing with enormous pressure. Health challenges, institutional instability, public scrutiny. And his heir simply opts out of Christmas lunch because, what? because he doesn't approve of his father continuing to associate with Beatrice and Eugenie. Imagine skipping Christmas lunch with your father because he invited your cousins. The story gets even more messy when you look deeper. According to insiders, William's team, described as young and digital savvy, believes that anyone with the surname York is a threat to the monarchy's reputation. Let that sink in. William, the man who has had his own scandals swirling for years, is suddenly concerned about reputation. Meanwhile, Charles is out here trying to preserve what little remains of the monarchy's public support. Including Beatrice and Eugenie is one of the only modern choices he's made that actually makes sense. They work, they show up, they're scandal-free compared to their father. And yet William is upset that they're being allowed inside the fold. There's something deeper happening here. Because, according to a family friend, William harbours a deep-seated resentment toward Charles. Old childhood wounds, parental trauma, emotional distance. None of that is Harry's fault. But for decades, the press used Harry as a shield to protect William from criticism. And now, without Harry present, the truth is slipping out. The heir and the monarch are not united. They never have been. And that brings us to the heart of the matter. Why does William skip everything? Easter, Christmas lunch, pre-Christmas dinner, various events, all conveniently avoided. It's because he doesn't care about family tradition. He doesn't care about the monarchy's presentation. He doesn't care about appearing dutiful. He wants the title. He wants the prestige. But the work, the visibility, the responsibility? No, thank you. Contrast that with Harry. Harry, who showed up for decades. Harry, who served in the military. Harry, who created Invictus. Harry, who continues serving veterans, mental health communities and families worldwide, even in California, far away from palace toxicity. Harry, who continues to rise above every slander thrown his way. And Meghan. Meghan, who has built an entire brand around kindness, philanthropy, empowerment and creative excellence. Meghan, who supports women, helps communities, champions charities, writes children's books, builds companies and cultivates joy everywhere she goes. The Sussexes, the couple who actually work, the couple who actually care, the couple who are showing the world what modern royalty looks like, with or without titles. Meanwhile, William and Kate can't even stay for Christmas lunch. This is why the palace keeps dragging Meghan's name into everything. This is why the tabloids obsessively attack Harry. They need distractions because none. Man bera sig overdagens hers did she. Because the real story is the palace divided against itself. And that brings us to the truth no Rota reporter dares admit. The Sussexes are not the problem. The Sussexes were never the problem. The fracture has always been inside the palace, between the heir and the monarch, between Charles and William, between the old guard and the new guard. And the saddest part? They will still try to blame Harry. But Squad, you and I see the truth. So let's close with this. Harry and Meghan are living with purpose, dignity and joy. They're advancing in their professional lives. They're raising their beautiful children in peace. They are winning, not because they are loud, but because their work speaks for itself. Meanwhile, the other side of the family cannot even get through a holiday lunch without drama, ego, or someone storming off to Anma Hall. This Christmas, the Sussexes once again prove that you don't have to stay in a toxic environment to be a person of integrity. You can choose peace, you can choose health, you can choose love. And when you do, the world eventually sees who the real problem always was. And that's the message the palace can't hide anymore. If you enjoyed today's deep dive, make sure you're subscribed to the Royal Sussex Squad, the home of truth, receipts and unapologetic Sussex love. And if you want to support the channel, feel free to use Super Thanks. It really helps the platform grow and keeps the content flowing. Stay tuned, stay blessed, and as always, we ride for Harry and Meghan. Period.